I'd like everyone to raise their hands if they would like to solve world hunger. Okay, now of the people with their hands in the air, keep them up. How many of you eat or would like to eat organic food? All right, a high amount. So those of you that had your hands up for both questions are living in what I call the organic food paradox. I was asked about a year ago in table topics here at Toastmasters how I would solve world hunger. And one of my answers, and some of you looked at me strangely, was we should eat less organic food. I'd like to talk a little bit more about that tonight, Madam Toastmaster, Area Governor, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Let me be upfront and frank. I come from a long line of farmers. My dad is a farmer. His dad was a farmer. His dad's dad was a father. His dad and his dad's beforehand. Manchurs have been farming for since the year 1700. And until 1950, you could say that all of my ancestors were organic farmers, because what we call today as conventional farming, farming with herbicides, pesticides, and other chemicals, did not exist until 1950. But the need to use these chemicals is necessary because of the growing human population. It took the first 248,000 years of human existence to reach 1 billion people. It took then another 125 years to reach 2 billion, 75 years to reach 4, and by the year 2050, the world population will be 8 billion people. Humans like to reproduce, I guess. In order to feed a growing world population, the United Nations says that in the year 2050, we will need 70% more food per year. That's 1 billion more tons of wheat, rice, and other grains, and 200 million more tons of beef and other meat. At the same time, this growing population is flocking to cities, and the cities are getting bigger, thus eating up farmland. And the people in the cities can't make food for themselves because they live in the city in a sea of concrete. And so less people are farming. In the 1800s, half of all Americans were farmers. In the 1990s, 3% of Americans were farmers. And in the 2002 US Census, 1% of Americans are farmers. So there's less people farming, but more people are needed to grow organic crops because they cannot advance technologically due to the nature of organic farming, so they need more people to grow organic food. So of the people that had their hands up, how many people are going to try to increase that 1% and become farmers? And move out of the city in our comfortable lifestyle, a couple, okay, but not half. Move out of our comfortable city lifestyle and grow our own food or grow food for this growing world population. A couple people that put up their hands isn't enough to make up for that. As I said, the cities are growing. They're eating up farmland, which is a natural resource, and all natural resources are finite on Earth. The amount of available farmland in the United States is decreasing. There was 1 billion acres of farmland 15 years ago. Today there's 900 million acres of farmland. And organic farms need more farmland because a 2012 University of Minnesota study showed that organic farms produce 10 to 40% less consumable food per acre. What does this mean? This means that if you do some simple math, and everyone here knows I like math, if you solve for x, that means you need 11 to 80% more land to produce the same amount of food on an organic farm compared to a conventional farm. Where is this land going to come from? Where we have to reverse the trend because we're decreasing the amount of farmland right now. We can't just clear trees and displace habitats and clear bushes to make more farmland, because that's not environmentally friendly either. And how much more farmland is there in places like Nebraska to grow wheat and corn? You can't just clear the Everglades or clear farmland in Florida to produce wheat. We need 1 billion more tons of wheat because the environment here just isn't sustainable to grow wheat. You need the perfect conditions, the perfect soil conditions as well in order to grow crops. So we have less people to grow more food and also less land. The one area I will say I give props to organic farming is not consuming chemical residue. There are some studies in my research for this speech that showed that there were health risks to eating organic food, which I couldn't believe, so I'm not going to make any of those arguments in this speech. But, excuse me, I'm not going to make any of those arguments in this speech, but still, organic food does use organic fertilizer. And does everyone know what organic fertilizer is? Manure. Horse poo?
Yeah.
Poo from a horse?
Okay.
That's what organic fertilizer is. And so would you rather consume residue from chemicals or residue from organic fertilizer? It's a 50-50 split for me. Some studies show that there could be more E. coli in organic food because of organic fertilizer, but the US Department of Disease Control and Prevention actually defutes that theory, except for non-certified organic farms. So if you're going to purchase organic food, make sure it's from a certified organic farm to decrease your chance of consuming E. coli. In the year 2013, only 1 to 2% of all American food purchased and consumed and produced is organic. So certainly there's a high majority of people that aren't eating organic food, whether it's for the reasons I mentioned, other reasons such as typically high prices associated with organic food. But it goes beyond that. City people, even like me that grew up on a farm, I don't consider myself a farm boy anymore, just go into the store and look at food, and it comes in one of two baskets. You have a basket without a label on it, or a label that says organic. And you think that your choice is just healthy eating between one of those two baskets. But if everyone were to choose organic food, there's more problems that come with that, not just trying to be healthy. There's less people to produce more food on organic farms. I'm Toastmaster.